Hi, I'm Karen Burniston, the designer of Pop-It-Ups dies for Elizabeth Craft Designs, and today I have a tutorial for how I made the backgrounds to these cards using modeling paste and one of my embossing folders. Modeling paste is available at all your major craft stores and art supply stores. And then I'm going to tint that modeling paste with just some inexpensive acrylic paint. So step one is I just need a good chunk of modeling paste into my plastic cup, so I'll just use my popsicle stick to glop a bunch of that into the cup. And then I would want to just put the cap back on the modeling paste so it doesn't dry out. I'll shake up my paint really well and just add a few drops, really however much I want, I guess as red as I want it. I'm using red today. And then I'm just going to mix that up really well using the popsicle stick. Now, any embossing folder will work for this technique, but I've chosen to use one of mine, the KB104 Damask embossing folder. And when you look at embossing folders, one side is raised, and then the other side you can put your fingernails down into the design. And it's that side that you can put your fingernails down into that you want to use for this technique. And then I'll just use my popsicle stick to glop my modeling paste all over that side of the folder. Now, before I go to spread all of that modeling paste, I probably want to put a piece of scratch paper underneath the folder because in the process of spreading it, I will get some of that modeling paste off the edges of the folder. And all I am using as my spreader is just a gift card that's been used, just an old gift card is perfect for this. And then just spread it all the way around and, try and get the modeling paste down into every part of the folder and then just scrape it smooth across the top. So I'm going to be able to get 3 backgrounds out of this one coating. You can use any machine that will run an embossing folder through it. I'm using a Sizzix Big Shot. Just make sure that you're set to whatever platform height you need for an embossing folder. So for a Big Shot, that's going to be tab 1. So I've got a cutting pad on tab 1, and then I'm going to add just a piece of text weight scratch paper, and that's just to kind of protect my cutting pad because some of this stuff is going to squish out the sides. I've got my folder open. I'm going to add my cardstock. Use a relatively thick cardstock for this. Then another piece of scratch paper to protect the top plate. And since I'm using an open folder, I need a little bit more thickness on top. So I'm going to use an impressions pad instead of a cutting pad as the top of the sandwich. The sandwich order for a Big Shot is on the screen. You can hit pause and write it down, or you can go to the About section, click over to the blog post, and it will be listed there as well. Now, this first pass is going to be the one that has the most dimension to it because it did not emboss it. What it did is the pressure of the machine is going to pull that modeling paste up out of the folder and onto the cardstock. So you're still going to get all of the dimension of the modeling paste. I don't know if you can see it there in the video, but you can see how thick that is with all those fun little ridges and things on it. That's because it didn't have any embossing to it. You can see the back is still flat. Now for my second background, I am going to use the folder just like a traditional embossing folder. So I'll put my cardstock in. Now I'm going to go back just to a cutting pad on top because I'm just using my regular sandwich on tab 1 for my Big Shot and rolling that through. When I pull it out this time, now you're going to see that it has been embossed. It's just been used as a traditional folder, but there is still a lot of color down in that pattern. So what it'll do is it'll pull that color out and onto the top of the embossed surface. So this background is going to mostly just be a colored embossed surface, but it's going to have color mostly through the entire pattern. Okay, let's do pass number 3. Once again, I'm just going to use it like a traditional embossing folder. So I'm going to put my cardstock in the folder, close the folder, put a cutting pad on top, and run it through the machine. So the third background is the one that's going to give you the most variation in color. So you'll have some areas that are darker and some that are lighter, and I just love the way that looks. I don't wait too long to clean up my folder because of course that's modeling paste. I don't want it to dry in my folder. But cleanup is just water. So I just have a little bowl of water here and a little scrub brush. And so then I just kind of scrub the modeling paste out of the folder and off of the little card. And then I just have a rag nearby that I can use to dry off that card. And you can see it's just ready to go for the next time I want to use it. And then I'll do the same thing with the folder. Just dry that right off. And then you'll see it is perfectly clean and ready to be used for the next project. You can hurry along the drying time with a heat gun if you need to, but once it is dry, you can ink those up. You can see there on my first one for my Happy New Year card, I did go ahead and use a couple different colors of distress ink and a blending tool and inked the entire background. And sometimes you get a pretty clean copy. Usually pass number 2 is pretty clean. And I used a pass number 2 background for this Merry Christmas card using Chili the Penguin. And then my third background, which is the one that has the most variation in color, that kind of has the most distressed look to it, that one I had done in a khaki color and decorated it with Poppy the Owl in the All Seasons tree. So this is a background technique that just begs for experimentation. You could use different kinds of cardstock, different colors, different inks. You could add glitter to the modeling paste before you put it in there. Just lots of ways you can experiment. And there's a little side view so you can see all of the dimension that you get on that Pass 1 background. Facebook users, if you will like the Karen Burniston Designer Facebook page, you'll always be informed for new projects and videos. If you want buying information for the Damask embossing folder or any of the dies you see in these cards, you can go to ecraftdesigns.com. I've been messing around a lot lately with transforming the character dies. So in this case, I used Honey the Bear to make the panda for my New Year's card. And I did film that card as a separate video, so it's on my YouTube channel, which I hope you will subscribe to. And you can always find more ideas on my blog, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching.